and welcome to WomanVision TV. It's where women talk. I'm Nadia Giordana, and I have a great guest today, Rita Johansen. She's here to talk about sugar and how it affects our bodies. Let's go talk to Rita and learn more about it. Rita, hi. I am so glad you could come on the show.
I'm so pleased to be here.
You know, let's hear a little bit about who you are and what you do and why we're talking about sugar today.
Absolutely. So I'm a licensed attorney, and I started off having it all. I grew this professional practice where I served my dream clients, and I built this amazing community of champions around my endeavor, and I loved getting up and going to work every day. And I thought at that time, I'm thin, I have energy, it's this erratic, frenetic energy, but I'm a high performance achiever. So it's working fine. It's all working. I didn't pay too much attention to what I put on my plate until I started having these experiences that slowed me down. It showed up first as relentless fatigue, and then the headaches started, and this cascade of symptoms kept popping up into my life.
And as young as you were, that must have been a surprise.
Yes, I was 26 years old, and you know, it's kind of the purview of the young to think that we're bulletproof, but then we really understand what it takes to support this vehicle for high performance. So even though I powered through enough to create this dream practice for myself and serve the clients I really wanted to serve and have an impact and have that success, it wasn't sustainable because my lifestyle created a blood sugar disorder. And that's when I started to care about sugar and realized that sugar is a form of a toxin. And this beautiful system, interrelated systems that we call the body, this high performance vehicle, so to speak, it just cannot function at a high capacity for indefinitely if we don't fuel it properly. And so sugar will show up as system-wide inflammation. It will puff us up. It's been linked to every disease out there. So it's so important that we eliminate sugar from our lives. And we know this.
We hear about it.
We hear about it.
You probably weren't even eating that much sugar. I mean, you were slim. You couldn't have been.
I didn't understand what's sugar to the body. That piece is huge. Realizing that it's more than the white stuff. Sugar to the body is also fruit, because fruit, you know, fruit and vegetables, they're talked about together. But fruit is nature's candy. It actually has a lot more in common with candy than it does with vegetables, which are nutrient dense. So it has the fructose, this form of sugar, some fiber, and water, but it's really, it's ingested as sugar to your body. So that's one of the things I want to talk about is this fructose piece. Because one of the things that prevents people from getting off sugar are these intense carb cravings.
Yes.
Where do they come from? You know, and that's we'll be making peaceful, proactive progress, and we'll be showing up and serving and on fire. And then all of a sudden, the sugar monster starts. You know, muffin, cookie, feed me, donut, something. Cookie, and we can't think clearly. The blood sugar starts to show up, the little crash. We can't think. It shows up first in the prefrontal cortex because the way that the brain functions is the last evolved part, the prefrontal cortex. That's our great idea generator. That's in charge of executive thinking. But that, because for survival purposes, it's not important to us, it's fueled last. So that's the first place that low blood sugar shows up, is the inability to think clearly.
So is that the brain fog thing?
That's the brain fog piece. That's also related to willpower and why when you get these cravings, you don't have a fighting chance at saying no and resisting that cookie because that part of the brain is shutting down and the part of the brain that's talking to you, that's shouting, cookie, donut. That's the limbic brain. It's the animal brain. It's in charge of survival and making sure that we have what we need to get around. So what will happen is we'll get the carb craving, fight, flight, freeze will sound. We'll just really get this sense of I have to do something immediately.
And it has to be sweet.
To action. It's this call to action. And meanwhile, our willpower shut off. So So then we get in this vicious cycle. We get the carb craving. We don't have the willpower to say no. We cave to the cookie, and then we beat ourselves up about it.
Yeah, yeah.
We tell ourselves the story that we're too weak to do this, that there's no way we can get off sugar, this is too hard, I'm a slave to these cravings, and why even
Might as
try?
well just go with it.
Yeah, and then because we tend to associate with people who are like us, who are living that same lifestyle, eating the same things, they're in this vicious cycle too. And so if you go to Susie and you say, I'm really trying to kick sugar, but these cravings keep happening and it's just, I'm having such trouble at this. Well, yeah, it's hopeless. Let's eat some chocolate cake together.
That's what happens.
Yeah, let's eat some chocolate cake together and it's just impossible, you know. And so once you understand the brain science behind this, and it's not your fault. It's just that the way that the body was evolved is not, it didn't catch up yet to modern day society. So the best way is to curb those cravings before they start.
How do you do that? I mean, is it about your habits?
So one piece I would say is eliminate fruit for a while, just to see how you do. And just observe what happens to those cravings. Because for a lot of people, it's the fruit consumption that fuels these cravings. I have a funny story, if I may share, about my own little sugar monster. So there are two ways that you can fuel the body. You can fuel it using glucose, which is derived from carbohydrates. There's also another, it's a dual fuel mechanism in the body. So if you have low carb consumption, what happens, and you amp up healthy fat intake, your body will learn to efficiently break down those fats for fuel. So if you eat healthful fat, it transitions into what's called ketones. And your body can use ketones for fuel, and it's a more consistent energy source than glucose, which gives you that up and down roller coaster effect.
Is ketones when you're burning your own body fat, or do I have that incorrect?
Ketones are, yes.
Okay.
Essentially what happens is the fat cells in your body are breaking down when you're not intaking enough fat. So you can either intake it, that will be burned for fuel. If there isn't enough from what you're intaking, then it's beautiful. It's like fat burning system here. You use what's stored in your body and that's released as your energy source. So that's why ketosis is really helpful for burning fat quickly, and that's really effective for people to increase brain function, first of all, because healthful fat's so good for your brain, and also to release pounds and shed them effortlessly, because when you're in this fat burning state, your limbic brain doesn't freak out and say, I have no source of fuel. Now it's time to reach for that cookie. It says, oh, I have ketones available to me. It's not all about glucose. I'm safe. Yeah, because the limbic brain, it operates in this black or white territory. Am I safe or am I threatened? So if you give it enough healthful fat, then it's safe. It's fueled. It doesn't have the shortage. So
part of tuning into that is starting by eliminating fruit. You said that's a good way to start?
Yes.
Okay.
I just want to make it actionable, and that's something that always come back to your own experience. I don't think that you should blindly follow any diet. It always is rooted in, is this working for me? What am I observing about my energy? Because energy is the demarcation for vitality. Yeah. So when you're well, you're vibrant and energized. And when you're not well, you know it. So trust your inner guidance system about how your body's doing. So I talked about keto so we could get into my carb story. So I used ketosis as a therapeutic tool to reverse my blood sugar disorder. I don't have it anymore. I broke free from it. So my body was in this consistent energy state, and then I just, long term, you need to have glucose in your body for vitality. You need a little glucose. You need something in both tanks long term. So I knew that as a long term strategy, this deep keto, crushed carbs, very, very low, super low carbs, is not good as a long term lifestyle decision. And then it got interesting. I decided to reintroduce carbohydrates, starting with fruit. Okay. So I'm very excited. I go to the grocery store and I pick out some organic blueberries, blackberries, strawberries. I go home.
All the best kinds of fruit.
vibrant and beautiful, and I'm so excited. I'm just going to have a strawberry. I have a strawberry, and it's like as soon as that it hits my taste buds, they just start singing. And all of a sudden, I have this limbic brain hijack, and I just start shoveling in the fruit. I mean, I am a fruit monster. It is just berry after berry. I'm eating handfuls of blackberries and blueberries, and then before I notice it, what I'm doing, I kind of come to.
Yeah.
My prefrontal
Because you're
cortex
aware.
comes back
Yeah.
online.
Mhm.
And then I realize, I look at my juice-stained hands in horror. What have I done? I was doing so well. I reversed my blood sugar disorder, and I was feeling fantastic. And then this fruit came back into the picture. And it's just a matter of noticing, what are your triggers? So for me, having a healthy relationship with food, this fruit piece is important to pay attention to. And I keep emphasizing fruit because it's something that people keep coupling with vegetables.
Yeah.
And that they have a free
Yeah.
pass to eat as much fruit as they want. And the important thing is to be aware of this priming effect that it has on the brain. So that wasn't the end. I had a crummy week after this fruit monster episode, because then as I'm going to the grocery store, I'm trying to make good decisions. I'm in this cycle. My limbic brain keeps shouting at me, sugar, sugar, sugar. So there I am in the grocery store, and I'm buying this gluten-free chocolate chip cookie package, and I'm taking it home, and I'm telling myself, I'm just going to have one, and that's red flag language. Just
Yes,
one.
it is. Yes,
Just
it
one.
is.
So I have just one chocolate chip cookie, and then another, and then another cookie, and then I'm putting them in my husband's snack drawer, even though he doesn't want sweets, and this has nothing to do with him. And then 10 o'clock that night, I'm going in his snack drawer, and I'm eating just one more cookie, and another cookie. And even though I learned so much about sugar and fueling my body well, I wasn't functioning from my good idea generator. I was experiencing this vicious cycle that I talk about, which is this priming effect that fructose has to produce these carb cravings. And then when you're not giving it the healthful fat that you need to just let your body know that you're safe, then everything starts to look good that's loaded with sugar.
Well, and even though our talk isn't about weight gain or weight loss, it affects weight also.
Yes.
Beyond, and what you're talking about is how much, we always think about how much sugar affects our weight.
Yes.
What about how it affects our general health and how our brain works?
Yes. I think people focus on weight so much, that number. It's
Yeah.
not really about the number.
Yeah.
It's about when you really get down to the heart of it. Like, what is the reason you want to lose weight? It has to do with happiness. It has to do with energy. It has to do with being able to go out and run on the beach and actually engage with your kids and be out there
And
swimming.
feel good.
And be part of the memories instead of sidelined on the shore.
Yeah.
So that's really what's at the heart of a lot of people wanting to lose weight, is to reclaim vitality.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
So how does a person, what should a person look for or think about if they just want to get going, minimize sugar in their life? And the other piece of that is the carbs, the pasta carbs. How does that fit in with that? Because that kind of turns into sugar in your body, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. And there are things that you can replace it with. Replacement seems to be a good strategy for a lot of people. So I have a little YouTube video about turning zucchini into noodles.
I've been doing that.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It's fantastic.
It's not a replacement. It is as good or better in my estimation.
Yes, throw in fresh herbs and really give yourself a treat, and your body will thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the important thing to know is your taste buds die. It takes about 28 days for your taste buds to die. So when people start a diet, they think, this will never taste as good to me as what I really enjoy right now.
So your taste buds
Your
change?
taste buds are, if they're trained for what I call supersonic sweet, this really intense saccharine flavor, or they delight in the starchiness associated with breads,
Yeah.
that's not going to stick around forever because
Oh.
there's this die-off that the natural life cycle is 28 days. Then you have a whole new world that opens up to you. The new round of taste buds are trained for whatever you've been feeding them.
This is new information
Isn't this
to me.
fascinating?
Yes.
So your buds can work with you if you just understand that what you think you're capable of right now and what's going to be your experience forever, that's a story that you're telling yourself. Your body is going to work with you as long as you give it what it needs to have consistent energy. And you train it to be geared towards what's naturally available.
This is so fantastic, and we're running out of time. Thank you for coming
Thank you,
on.
Nadia.
We could have talked for another hour
I know,
or
this is
more.
so exciting to talk about vitality.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you.